Hey YouTube, Grunt Reviews here, and today I'm bringing you the range report for the Four Peaks Imports Toros Arms Copolla T4. Guys, before we get into it, hit like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell down below so you can stay up to date with all of our latest contents, and let's get into it. All right, so got her out to the range yesterday. Went through a variety of different ammos, everything from buckshot for the break-in portion to some slug and several different types of field loads. Ran through it all. We did start off with the S&B number 4 buckshot that does meet all the requirements for the break-in process suggested on the box. All right, first thing we're going to start off with, this is S&B 2 3/4 inch number 4 buckshot. Meets all the break-in requirements. Let's see how she shoots. Well, she's a little stiff. That's really stiff. All right. So, hit our first issue. Even with another shell pushing it, this thing is really, the shell catch is really freaking stiff. We'll get through these. We'll get through these first 5. This is kind of a weird one. All right, so we did get it loaded up. You have to basically use another shell and force it past there. So it looks like it's the shell catch is either out of spec or a little bit too large. Something we'll look at, but let's see how it shoots. This will be the first 5 rounds. Okay. And here we go. Perfect. So the first 5 locks back just like it should. No issues, very minimal recoil, very similar to what it's a copy of, the M4. Let's try some other ammo and see how it shoots. And we also ran through a variety of field loads. Some worked okay. All right, so let's try some target load here. This is some Top Gun 8-shot, ounce and an eighth, 1,200 feet per second. Let's see if these load any easier too, since the rim's a little bit smaller on them. So these do load a little bit easier than the buckshot rounds. 3. Let's see if it cycles. Well, we killed our little target there, but first 5 rounds of the bird shot cycled flawlessly. That loaded a little bit easier too. Let's try something else. So the next one we're gonna try, and I've thrown a couple in my pocket, is a 7.5 with 1 ounce. Let's see if it cycles the lighter stuff. This is the Federal Game and Target load. This stuff's got a little bit more of a rim to it, so it is still a little bit stiffer. Here we go. Cycles the light loaded stuff too, just like the M4. We got a couple more ammos to try, and then we'll step it up to a little bit bigger shell. Some worked not so well. Caught this one while my assistant slash camera guy was shooting it, but this is not a 3-inch. This is a 2 3/4 inch, and we're getting that same hang up issue where it's actually the lifter is not moving all the way up and pushing the shell in. The bolt's getting caught halfway. Let's finish out this mag tube. Now we've got what looks like a failure to extract here. Okay. Another failure to extract. Clear that off. Another failure to extract. Cycled fine that time. This is what we've been having all the issues with. The Winchester, it's 12 gauge, 2 3/4, 1200 velocity, 1 1/8 ounce, 7.5 shot. Does not like this stuff. And some did work great. Biggest thing we noticed right offhand, as you'll see in the video here. All right, so let's run the gauntlet here. I've got some 7.5 shot, 2 3/4. I've got a couple of 3-inch deer slugs here. And then I have this little green bad boy right there is some 5-shot turkey load. We're gonna put it all in the same mag tube, see if it works. Nope. Yeah, there we go. So this will be the deer slug. Yep. Yeah, same issue. It does not like that high brass. Interesting. So I took the turkey load. So for whatever reason, these 3-inch high brass shells, these Super X shells, it does not like loading. We're gonna try to force it in there, see what happens. So it will go eventually, but you got to use a pretty significant amount of force to make that happen. So if this is something you're considering for home defense where you might need to reload in a pinch, this may not be the best choice for you to go with. But all 5 of those are in there. Let's see what she does. And first malfunction, we've got a bolt jam here. Okay, bolt didn't cycle all the way. Next round's in. All right. So we had a failure to, it's like a failure to extract. It was still in the chamber. This is that 7.5 load. And let's load it up, try it again. Is that the shell catch in this thing is absolutely either oversprung or out of spec. Anything with a high brass on it that little bit wider, just a little bit wider rim on it, you really have to shove them in there to get them in the mag tube. Now, once it's in the mag tube, not that big a deal. For the most part, does feed and does cycle okay. But getting them in there, you've got to shove one in with the next one. Definitely precludes good quality dual or quad loading there. The Winchester Universal, it really does not like. We had more malfunctions with that. The break-in process actually seemed to go pretty well with the buckshot. As soon as we started getting into field loads or even the higher power turkey loads, started having failures to extract, started having failures to feed or the lifter to completely cycle. If you look at our modifications video for this, which I will put up above here, you can actually see a lot of the wear on the actual trigger group from the lifter moving up and down. So that could be an out of spec type issue, maybe, whether the lifter is out of spec or the trigger group is out of spec. But same time, you would assume that as something wears in, it would move more freely and not jam up. As you can see here, it will definitely shoot buckshot. Running a Gauntlet through it, it does not seem to like, or a variety of different ammos. All right, so another Gauntlet. I've got some 3-inch Super X buckshot, some of that 3-inch turkey load, and a couple of number 8 field loads. Guys, this thing is still incredibly hard to get. For some reason, it doesn't like the Winchester Super X, any of them. The buckshot, the deer slug. I think it's because the rim's just a little bit larger. Best I can figure is that this the shell catch may be a little bit out of spec, so that's something we'll look at when we get back to the shop. But let's see if this bad boy will run the Gauntlet all the way through without a malfunction. All right, starting with the buckshot. Here we go. All right, so we had a failure to feed the next round. The shell catch got caught there. Interesting. Let's see if we can clear it. All right, that released it. Fed back in. And it did finish out, did lock open. Final thoughts on this bad boy. Really wish, if you're gonna make a copy of something, please improve it. So the fit and finish, as you saw from the first video, the front sight is tilted off a little bit, and the guards are actually 2 different heights. Really do like the factory trigger in this. For a factory trigger, it's definitely more than adequate. It's actually on the better side, and I do like the enlarged trigger guard there. They did modify the lifter a little bit, so the Benelli, we'll call it the horseshoe, is a little bit smaller. This one is just a little bit easier to use. But really wish they had fixed a lot of the initial issues with the Benelli. So number 1, the tiny bolt catch here, I really wish they would have fixed that and put either a standard oversized or something like a GG&G on there. The loading port, so with the stiffness of this of the shell catch and bolt release, something that definitely would have helped would have been cutting and enlarging the port, which is something that could have been easily done, and one of my biggest complaints with the M4, just to make dual loading or quad loading easier. Definitely an improvement. If you guys are watching this, Toros or Four Peaks, definitely something I would recommend. The overall fit and finish issues, you are getting essentially a Benelli M4 for 1/3 of the price, so you are going to give up something somewhere. It looks like that's where they gave up a lot of it. But the fact that it's real picky about ammo, I don't know if I would truly consider it a copy. My M4 has eaten all of the ammunition that I ran through this. It runs fine through the M4. I'll link you to my Argo video where we do a mix of it on the M4 and it shoots great. So maybe I got a dud. Maybe they are just ammo specific. I only have a sample size of 1 to go off of here. If you've had a different experience, better experience, worse experience, guys, go down below. Leave me a comment. Would love to discuss with you. But overall, it's not a terrible copy, but for a $750 to $800 price tag, really wish they would have had a few more of the bugs worked out of it, and maybe they will, as we've seen with some of the Turkish guns. They kind of release a batch, they dial in, fix some things, they'll release another batch, and generationally, it does tend to improve little by little. Like I said, guys, post your experiences down below. I hope this helps you in your decisions. And as always, stay safe, train hard.